Why is Ed Harris Russian? I don't even know. Hello and welcome to the Science Fiction Double Feature Podcast, podcast number 50. If we drop
Woo!
below 50 podcasts an hour, the bus will explode. Yes, it's our 50th one, so we're gonna talk about a few different things. But what we normally talk about is movies. Actually, first, this is my co-host Terry. Say hello, Terry.
Hello, Terry.
How are you this morning? What's the deal?
No deal, really. Since we're changing things up later on in the podcast, I just want to say that I went and saw Blair Witch on Thursday, and it's not very good. It's actually the same movie as 1999, except it's got some fancier gadgets in it. Don't see it. Don't see it. It's not worth it.
I kind of suspected that would be the case.
I was hoping to be something better, something good in there, but there really wasn't. To tell you how bad the movie is, I went with a friend and he lost his job that day. We got back to the car and he said, "That is the worst thing that's happened to me all day."
Oh dear, that's bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's bad.
yeah,
Oh my god.
that was pretty bad.
Oy.
So don't see Blair Witch.
Okay, I won't. I wasn't going to. All right. Okay, cool. Yes. So you may have gathered, we normally talk about movies. We normally talk about movie news, movie trailers, movies we've seen, and movies that are coming out. But for our special 50th episode, it's a very special episode. Terry's gonna learn about caffeine pill addiction. That's not true. But instead of talking about movies we've seen, we're going to talk about our favorite movies of all time that aren't Star Wars. Yes, so that's exciting. But first, we'll talk about some movie news. Do you want to get into that? Right. What do we got here? Yes, Neill Blomkamp, the maker of science fictional analogy films with pretty amazing design that don't really stand up that well, is working on a new thing. He's been attached to an Alien sequel. Threequel? I think it's technically a threequel that's been put on hold while Ridley Scott makes Alien Covenant or something. I don't really know what's going on. So he's moving on to other things in the meantime, which is good. He's posted on Instagram a picture of a gross face with the caption, "Working on new things, currently not Alien." So all we know is that it's not Alien. That's interesting. All right. Yeah, you can have a look. We've got a link on the Tumblr that you can have a look at, which is probably the best way to do. It's a very creepy, deformed face. It's just a black and white image of a practical mask in an effects workshop. It's all sunken and it's got goopy stuff, so it looks like maybe it's an alien, but it's kind of human. So maybe it's actually some sort of mutant, mutated by something, which. Yes, brings me to something I literally just noticed then looking at the caption. Currently not alien is the word alien isn't capitalized. So maybe rather than saying it's not from the movie Alien, it's not an alien. Potentially, that's an interesting point that I hadn't considered. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here. Maybe it could be attached to his Alien threequel. It might not. Potentially, it is someone who's been hit by xenomorph acid. I'm not sure, or maybe it is a mutated human rather than an alien creature. I don't know. It looks interesting. There's very little to say. We can kind of just speculate here. It's got two mouths. I don't know why. I don't know what kind of wacky adventures this thing is going to go on. Hopefully it's a road trip. Hopefully he discovers something about himself. Possibly it's a Crossroads type road trip where he's got a baby and he meets a guy with a convertible. I don't know. I haven't really seen Crossroads. But yes, certainly intriguing. Who knows what it could mean though? I don't know. It's Neill Blomkamp is working on something. We know that. Yeah, which I'm probably going to see anyway, even though his movies don't stack up that well and usually just have Sholto Copley in them, which I don't mind, really. I don't know. What did you think of the Blomkamp head?
As soon as I looked at it, I thought it was the weird, disfigured orc from The Hobbit, the
Oh,
white one.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's the adventures of the orc afterwards. He's like a Ronin orc, after Sauron's died or whatever. And now, did you say Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit?
The Hobbit.
Ah, yeah. Oh, yeah. That guy. Maybe he's. Did he die? He did, didn't he?
Yeah, he would have died.
Maybe it's a prequel when he's like young and innocent, and before he decides to take up war, and he's just
Maybe.
going on a carefree road trip in Middle Earth, which would be pretty fun, to be honest. Middle Earth road trip. Who knows? Don't know.
Well,
He's got a hairdresser in the back of this picture, and yet he's bald. So who knows what that means?
Middle Earth road trip. Isn't that what both The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings were?
Yeah, but this would be more like again, more like the movie Crossroads, where they're not throwing stuff into a hole and there's no fire, there's no mountains, there's no like Billy Connolly riding a pig. They just learn about themselves.
Well, I reckon Crossroads probably could have a bit more Billy Connolly riding a pig.
That would have been amazing if
It
just
would
in
have
the
been
background,
great.
woof,
Him riding past Britney Spears on his pig.
the pig would probably be faster than that like 70s convertible thing they're driving. Yes. Oh my god.
Other than that, I don't think too much of it. It looks pretty cool, practical makeup and practical like face wear. Um, but yeah, it looks cool. Looks cool. It's a nice little teaser for whatever he's got going on. I
Who
don't,
knows what it could be?
I don't know. Could be not alien, or could be just not alien. Um, yeah, yeah. That's all I've got to say about that.
It raises questions, but we can't actually answer them. So we'll have to wait and find out what Mr. Blomkamp is working on, and what role Sholto Copley will play in the film.
Why is
Uh,
there a hairdryer in the background, but the mask has no hair?
oh, it's so intriguing! Oh my god, who knows? It's almost definitely because the hairdryer is used to make practical effects for like drying molded plastic or something, and not because it's used to style the hair of just inanimate masks.
Well, not
Maybe.
this guy.
I'm not an expert on these things. Maybe it's just the one that Blomkamp carries around with him as part of his kit, his
I wouldn't
life
be
kit.
surprised.
I think that's something that Neill Blomkamp would do. Yes, that's definitely a thing. A man I don't actually know much about. Definitely do that. I'm sure. Anyway,
Well,
cool. What else is happening? Moving on. Yeah. Okay. So we have a new cast member for Pacific Rim 2, Pacific Rim Maelstrom. Um,
is it
join-
still titled that?
I think so. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because it got titled that before it got taken down.
Yeah, everyone is calling it
But
Pacific Rim 2, but I kind of like
before the
Maelstrom.
Chinese took it over.
I think I'm just going to keep saying Maelstrom because it's quite fun to say, and it's better
All
than
right.
Pacific Rim 2, Pacific Rimia. Yes. So Charlie Hunnam is out, as we may know. You may know. I definitely know that. John Boyega is in as the son of Idris Elba's Stack at Pentecost. Now, Kaylee Spaney is being cast as the female lead. If you're wondering who Kaylee Spaney is, no, she hasn't done a lot. She's been in a short film and called Counting to 1000, which I don't know anything about. She supposedly released songs. I think she's listed as a pop singer. You can find her songs on YouTube if you like, but I don't believe they're massively well known. So she's basically an unknown. So we don't know much about Kaylee Spaney. We don't know anything about the role she's playing. I'm also not quite sure how to pronounce Kaylee Spaney. So if anyone wants to write in and correct me on that, that would be really useful. It's probably worth noting here is what this doesn't say, which is what the previous female lead, Rinko Kikuchi's Mako will be playing, what role she will be playing, if any, in Pacific Rim 2, Pacific Rim Maelstrom. Yeah, there's been no definitive statement either way whether Kikuchi will be reprising her role or not, or what state she will be, to what extent that will be, whether she'll be a major main character or just one of the many minor characters who we all come to love despite their 10 minutes of screen time. So that's, yeah, it's more what this doesn't say than what it does say that's interesting. It's whether Mako Mori or Kikuchi will be in Pacific Rim 2. I'm kind of hoping so. She was probably the one of the better characters. She was much more interesting than Charlie Hunnam's. Can I remember his name? Riley Beckett. She was a much more interesting character than Riley Beckett. So I'm hoping she's back, possibly as the leader of the Shatterdome. Um, so I think yes, it'll be interesting to find out what role she plays in this. 'Cause I'm not quite sure. Uh, yeah, we'll have to find out. I think I'm hoping so. I'm definitely hoping that Rinko Kichi is back. I think she was. Yeah, it'll be sorely missed if she's not. Are you interested in Pacific Rim 2? Do you know who Katie
Um,
Spaney is? Do you know how to say Spaney?
no, I don't know who this girl is, but she's pretty, so I don't mind her going into Pacific Rim 2, and I'll look at her for 2.5 hours.
Sure.
But that's pretty much where my opinion on this finishes, because she really hasn't done much. I have no idea who she is. So sure, why not? She can go in there.
Fair enough. Yes, she's kind of like Daisy Ridley, who we knew nothing about before Star Wars, and then turned out to be amazing. So hopefully Kaylee Spaney will as well. Um, yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, how it continues the story. I think Pacific Rim 2, because there's definitely a father-daughter relationship between Stacker Pentecost and Mako Mori, and yet he had a son who we knew nothing about, who'll be played by John Boyega, and someone knows how to pronounce John Boyega as well. I'm kind of just guessing there. Someone can confirm that. That would be super.
Actually, yeah, that sounds pretty right.
Okay, sweet. So yes, the son we knew nothing about. It will be back with some other lady who we've never seen, and who knows. I think IMDb says Max Martini is attached as Hercules Hansen, the Australian Hercules Hansen with such an Australian name. So yeah, I don't know what role he'll play either. Whether he'll still be in charge and run around with a bulldog. Who knows? Who knows? We'll have to wait till the end of 2018 to find out. I think again, so many questions and so few answers this week. Oh my god. Anyway, do you have something simpler to tell us?
I do, but it's also not concrete. Benicio del Toro. Did I say his name right?
Benicio del Toro.
Oh, I did pretty good.
Yeah.
Benicio del Toro is in talks to be in the Predator reboot that Shane Black is directing. So he's not in it, but apparently he's in talks to be in it. He's asking for money, I suppose. And the studio is checking their checkbook. Yeah, so that's exciting. I'd love for him to be in this movie. I love the Predator series, and he's doing some really great work that I'm loving at the moment. You haven't seen A Perfect Day that came out this year or last year, have you?
Oh no, I haven't. No.
You should. It's really, really good, and he's in it. So yeah, he's doing some great things at the moment. Plus, he's in Guardians as the Collector. He's weird looking. Yeah, what do you think about Benicio jumping into Arnie's shoes? Think he can fill Arnie's shoes?
Will he fill Arnie's shoes? Will he fill Jesse Ventura's shoes? Will he
Will he
fill
fill
shoes?
Shane Black's shoes?
Will he be Kevin Peter Hall? Who knows? Do you think he's gunning for like a state governorship? Because Predator is a film in which two of the cast members later became state governors. So there's definitely a trend there he could be jumping on.
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know. Yes, I think it could be good. I hope he basically plays the guy he played in Sicario. I think that would be fantastic.
That would be good if they actually brought that character over.
Yeah. No, that will kind of ruin Sicario. But yeah, I don't know. Yes, I think this could be interesting. Predator. It's a show. It's a series that's gone in some funny directions. So it'll be interesting to see where Shane Black manages to take it.
Probably for Christmas.
Probably to Christmas, yes. A very Predator Christmas.
Yes. Predator shows up with tinsel around his neck.
You're one ugly. Yes.
Well, he is always watching you.
He is.
And checking it twice.
So you're saying that Predator is actually Santa?
Oh, now that's even a better movie.
Predator. Oh my God! Yes. Is it like? So it's like a Santa horror movie where when the Predator is pretending to be Santa in order to predate.
Maybe. Oh, or maybe
Not.
he came down the chimney once, like back in the 1500s or something, to kill some xenomorphs, but found
Okay.
children and left them some grenades or something.
Okay, so it's like the Krampus.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. Who knows what? We don't know what Benicio del Toro will be doing in Predator. If he's even in Predator, who knows?
Mm.
It'll probably be Christmas. Someone will probably have to get down and get back to the chopper.
I thought you guys said get down and boogie.
They may have to get down and boogie as well. I mean, I'm not one to say either way what the Predator do. It's a unique culture with many layers that I don't think we all appreciate. So maybe the Predators will boogie. They must do something else besides predating. I'm not sure.
I don't know if they do. We haven't really seen too much into it. That's what I want to see. Let's go back to Predator Homeworld and see Family of Predators.
Yeah, let's do like a very predator. Maybe it's a very predator Christmas. It's predator
Oh.
on the. It's Christmas on the predator planet. And
Predator on 34th Street.
yeah, and
Oh, that sounds like a bad movie.
yeah, Predator on 34th Street sounds awful. Oh my god! But what? Maybe yeah, and maybe it's like maybe it's the Predator version of Jingle All the Way, where the
Ah,
Predator has to like he has to capture his human that his son has always wanted that he's quite distant from because he's always off being Predator. So and all his son wants is Benicio del Toro for Christmas for reasons. So he has to go and get him.
so
Yeah, that must be what it's about.
the Predator now has to fill Arnie's shoes.
Yeah, who knew? Oh my god. Call us Shane Black. We got a pitch for you.
Yeah, that's pretty
Ooh,
good.
time to go to Hollywood and start just hanging out in elevators to see if we can pitch it to him.
You gotta get one of those rich and famous contracts that the
Yes,
Muppets got.
get me the standard rich and famous contract. All right. Well, that went well. Okay, cool. What shall we talk about trailers?
Yeah, let's have a few trailers. There's a couple
Okay.
I really want to talk about.
Okay.
One's called The Bye Bye Man. Terrible name. I hate the name.
Yes.
Um, oh, I hate the name. I hate it. But the trailer looks pretty good. It's a horror movie, and it's a bit like the Boogeyman, and he's like just haunting you, and you see him in photos and stuff. And the more you think about him, and the more you talk about him, the stronger he becomes, and the stronger presence he has on hold on you, and so the easier to kill you. Yes, I want to see this. It looks really creepy. It looks creepier than that stupid Blair Witch movie I just saw. Yeah, hate the name. Change the name. Don't care. Change the name. Do you want to see the Bye Bye Man?
I really don't. It looks like a complete waste of Carrie Ann Moss. It looks partly it is the name. Like the name is awful and it's the terrible name for a monster and it's a terrible name for a movie. But it just looks janky. Like it looks kind of like a weird it follows slash final destination slash it thing. And I don't want to watch it because it just
They're all good things.
but not together. It's like if you mixed cake and lasagna.
I'd
No,
eat that. I'd eat that.
no, that would be bad. That would be a bad combination of food.
No, I'm eating this bad combo of food.
Oh god,
Uh,
it just I don't know. It just looks kind of janky, and it looks like they're trying to. It looks like a Slender Man knockoff, but I think they were already making a Slender Man movie, so they're like, well, what can we call him? Slender Bye Bye Man? Bye Bye Man. Ugh. Did they let a small child name the movie? That's
I
like
hope so. That's the only way I'm going to accept this title if that's what happens. Oh, I hate it. I hate that character name. But I like the look of the movie. It was
it's
really freaky when like the lady in bed and the cloak's up on the wall. I was like, what's that? And it's like comes out. Ah. So I was like, ooh, that's creepy. I liked it.
it's not sinister enough for me. Like it's not unnerving. You see kind of too much of him in a way. You kind of like he's clearly a creepy looking man in with sort of a monster man in makeup in a hoodie. I don't care. I don't want to watch that. Oh yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll watch it and report back.
Okay.
Um,
I may or may not read your subsequent report because I really don't care.
I think you're curious enough to find out.
No, I'll just scroll to the end and read how many stars you give it, and when you give it 2, I'll be like, thought so.
Wow, Blair Witch didn't even get 2.
No, it looks. It's more interesting. Well, I'm sort of just judging this on trailers, but Bye Bye Man looks more interesting than Blair Witch did. So
But you just complained you saw too much of Bye Bye Man. You don't see much of Blair Witch.
no, but I mean, at least I know it. Just well, it looked like more of a movie from that had been come out 16 years ago. So
Hmm.
this at least looks novel. They've put some screenwriting effort into it. So kudos to that. It's a different kind of
Yeah.
movie at the very
See,
least.
that's well. That okay. They'll at least get 2 stars in.
Okay, we think. Well, let's just judge this movie before either of us have seen it. That's a good idea.
All right. Another trailer. The first full trailer for Moana came out this week, and a poster as well, which looked all right. Dwayne's doing a good job at marketing. He's shooting out everything. He's doing all the promos for him. I don't like it. I love the animation. It looks fantastic. There was a weird volcano creature that Maui has to fight, and that looks really cool. But the story isn't grabbing me. I love the animation in it. I love the look of it, but it's just something about the narrative I just don't care about. Um, yeah, which is weird because I usually dig all the Disney animations. Um, just just not this one. What do you think?
I haven't been that
You didn't watch it?
excited based on the teasers we've seen. I did, and then I saw
Ah,
this not really expecting that much. But I quite liked it. I liked that Moana's on a boat. I like that she goes sailing. It's interesting to compare. The teasers have kind of led with The Rock because if The Rock is in your movie, you lead with The Rock. But he's not the title character, so it was kind of just here's some jokes. But we get a much better sense of the narrative. We might get a much better sense of Moana herself. It kind of again trailers can very much present a movie in a way that isn't necessarily accurate, but we get much more of a sense here that Moana is the main character and that Maui is kind of a cool and fun sidekick, which I think
yeah.
is which is much better. Yeah, and there's a lot of good looking stuff, including a volcano man. A lot of the animation looks really good. She's on a boat. I really like that she's sailing a boat. I don't know why. I think that's
Like,
just not something that happens in Disney princess movies. So hell's yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to see it. But it does look a lot more exciting than it had done previously.
they kind of remind me of Waterworld.
Really?
Yeah, like she's on the boat.
Oh,
She's Kevin Costner. She's Kevin Costner.
and he's the kid.
He's the
Yeah.
kid with the map, and so they go to the island with the map, and they meet the Dennis Hopper on the way, which is those little guys.
Because
The little,
so many tiny Dennis Hoppers
yep.
floating around on their Exxon Valdez. Yeah,
Yep.
I thought it looked pretty solid. It looked a lot better than it. Yeah, I was a lot more interested in it than previously.
I've been hearing that from other people who watched the trailer and said they weren't interested, and then this got them interested. I'm
It's
still
just
not
yeah,
interested.
it's got a much. If you're curious about Moana, I definitely say watch the full trailer. Like if you like us,
Yeah.
kind of want to like a Disney animation, but haven't necessarily been into it, have a look at the very least. Because yeah, I thought it's a much better sense of what the movie's actually about. Apart from having the Rock in it, which is pretty good, but not always indicative of a quality film. So yeah, definitely have a look. I think yeah, I liked it a lot more than previously. It's interesting to note. I think part of the problem I've had with it previously is that it's kind of a step backwards from Frozen, which sort of to an extent broke the Disney princess mold. No one like there was like an animal sidekick, but it wasn't like the cute friend as we've seen in Aladdin and Little Mermaid and so forth. Um, and yeah, it seemed it. I mean, it isn't an adventure about two sisters. It's again about a headstrong girl, which is good, going off on a mission that's still defined by a big dude, which is fine. Um, but yeah, it actually looks fun now because there's boats. So yes, have a look at the Moana trailer at the very least. If you've been skeptical of Moana, might change your mind. Might not. Might at least make your mind up. In which case, I mean, that's good either way, surely. Anyway, cool.
All right. Do you have a trailer?
I do. There is a movie coming out called Free Fire. This trailer looks really, really fun. It's a sort of a garish 1970s gangster movie. There's some Irish gangsters, possibly they're in the IRA. I'm not quite sure. Played by Cillian Murphy, who you might know from things, and Michael Smiley, who you might know from Black Sea and a few other things that I can't remember the name of right now. And Brie Larson. So all these characters sport the most garish of 70s accoutrement. And they go to a warehouse to meet. They're accompanied by Army Hammer, who kind of looks like Casey Affleck somehow. He's sort of brokering this deal between them and an arms merchant who is played by Shalto Copley, being very South African and again in a very garish 70s suit, who turns out is not necessarily selling them the guns they thought he was, and so the deal all kind of goes south, and they all end up sort of behind cover in this warehouse trying to sort of with different factions trying to get the upper hand on the others. And yeah, it looks like a really fun gangster movie. Brie Larson looks really fun. Shalto Copley looks bonkers. It's a different role from Army Hammer from what we've seen him in previously. So yeah, it looks really, really good. Having said that, another movie that looked really, really good was High Rise, and a movie that wasn't very good was High Rise. High Rise was directed by Ben Wheatley, and Free Fire is directed by Ben Wheatley.
Oh,
Yeah, so maybe not. It might end up just kind of as a slow people hanging around in a warehouse movie. It might not. It might turn out to be really good. I kind of want to see it anyway because it does look pretty bonkers and kind of kind of brutal. It looks Tarantino-esque. Definitely like it's gangsters in a warehouse shooting at each other and sort of quipping with a lot of dialogue. So it looks pretty fun, but I've definitely got reason to be skeptical of Free Fire today. So yeah, we'll have to see how that turns out. What did you think of Free Fire?
it's funny you say it's Tarantino-esque because I was watching and going, this reminds me. It has a feel of it of Tarantino, and it kind of just took me to The Hateful Eight, where they're all pretty much just stuck in the cabin together. Except this, I think this adds a bit more violence, a bit less talking. Even though there does seem to be a lot of talking. It looks really, really good. I was excited for it. It's very confined, but there's so much going on. So I like that all these gangster people or arms dealers are stuck in the warehouse together, and they've got to fight their way out somehow. And Brie Larson just gets shitty for someone shooting her, so she just turns around and shoots him back.
Yeah,
I think he was on the same team, wasn't he? He seemed to be on her team.
I don't know.
No, I'm very excited for Free Fire. Yeah, we should get more of that.
Yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. I think, but yeah, Ben Wheatley might be incredibly boring. We'll have to see.
What else is? I didn't mind High Rise. I didn't think it was anything spectacular, but I didn't mind it. I didn't hate it like you did.
He made Kill List, which I don't know if that's good or not. I haven't seen that.
And that's it.
And a few other. What else have we got here? Kill List, Down Terrace. I don't know what that is. Sightseers. I don't know what that is. Oh, he made a Field in England. Yeah, I don't know. Which was it was like a supernatural horror set in like 1600s Britain, during the English Civil War. I'm not quite sure. I think it was supernatural. It might not have been. I thought there was like some guy doing witchcraft or something. Don't know.
Right. So the only thing we've actually seen of his is High Rise, which isn't much to go on.
Yes, that would be the case. Yes,
All right.
but it wasn't very good. And looking at some of the other, just the Rotten Tomatoes ratings of his films, they don't look that exciting.
They look like Rotten Tomatoes.
Hey. Anyway.
All shriveled and saggy.
Hey. Yeah, I don't know. It's Free Fire still looks like a movie you should check out, but just just be aware that it doesn't have the best pedigree, I would say.
All right. So, moving on to
Yes.
our 50th episode shenanigans.
Yes. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a number. For me, it's three of our favorite films, and then are we going to pick a favorite film from 2016 so far, or
Yeah, why not?
yes? Okay. Do you want to go first, or shall I?
I reckon we go one for one because that way
Oh,
it's not
okay.
one of us talking for
20
20
minutes.
minutes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
All right, I'll go first.
Uh,
Um, Now, my top films of all time, my top two are Jurassic Park and Jaws. But I've spoken about them quite a bit on previous podcasts, and I've done reviews of them recently. So if you want to see what I've got of them, go onto our Tumblr and find the Spielberg Reviewed uh, link, and they'll take you to them. They're pretty good. I love them both. But number three is the 1968 Planet of the Apes. I love the Apes films. Probably Tim Burton's last, but I love the Apes films. Um, this is absolutely fantastic. Charlton Heston's in there getting wrangled around by monkeys. Roddy McDowell's in the full makeup. I love this movie. The dialogue's so good, and even though Nova has none. Um, and just the amount of characters in there and the reflections of our society, even though it is our society, really. Of course, they have. Oh, spoiler alert! It's actually Earth. And
what?
yes, well, you wouldn't
Oh,
know that if you watch The Simpsons.
I've seen it.
Um,
I know references. Anyway,
I know.
yes. Sorry.
Um, yeah, I really wasn't prepared to talk about this, but I love this movie. It's so different from the book. Have you ever read the book?
I have not. I understand that Tim Burton's film is more faithful to the book.
No, I wouldn't even say that.
Oh, okay.
The book is very different. It's probably closer, but it's still very different. Um, the ending is really really different and strange. Um, so yeah, and Taylor isn't even the main. There's not. I don't think there is a character called Taylor in the book. He's someone else. I can't think who he is off the top of my head.
It's a
Uh,
French book, I believe.
it is a French book. Pieter Bonello or something. Yeah, so that is my third favorite film is Planet of the Apes. You should see it. You should see it. Um, what's your favorite film you want to talk about, Tim?
Okay, I'm not going to do these in any order, but much in the same way that Terry has other favorites that he's not mentioning today. I like Star Wars a whole lot, but I kind of don't really consider excuse me, in comparison to other films. I don't know why. I just kind of don't. So I don't tend to include it in lists like this. So this will be my three favorite films that aren't Star Wars. I'm gonna start with. I'm gonna choose Wally. I'm going to save the best for last, I think, or the most interesting for last. Wally is a fantastic little film. It is it's wonderful. You may know it. I'm sure you've seen it. It is a Pixar film about a robot that learns to love and then saves the human race um, from its own apathy. It's a wonderful looking film. It's sort of this amazingly designed film. It's as a love story, I think it's better than the majority of romantic comedies and other such nonsense because it's about two characters who are kind of in love, but there's other stuff going on. They're not just so wrapped up in each other. They sort of acknowledge that there are more important things going on in the world than what they want. It's a wonderfully fun and funny and whimsical film. It's still very heartfelt. Sort of this amazing animation of the early scenes where Wally is cleaning up a polluted Earth by himself are wonderfully fantastic. Um, Yeah, it's a wonderfully fun film like for a movie with very little dialogue. Really, it's got a fairly fantastic cast. Sigourney Weaver is the computer. John Ratzenberger is John, and then Kathy Najimy is the lady, and then the captain. I can't remember who he is, but it's a fun voice cast. It's kind of interesting to see as well that sort of combination of animation and live action. We see. I want to say Kurtwood Smith, but that's not his name. I forget that guy's name. In the flesh, as in some live action scenes, and then we cut to the animated, sort of lethargic people on the Axiom on the spaceship that Wally goes to. So it's kind of who are animated. So it's kind of this wonderful combination of effects there. It's a fantastic looking film. It's a fantastic story. It's a fantastically made piece of film. It's just real good. It's really fun. You can watch it at any age and love it and find something to love. It's it's got sound design by the wonderful Ben Burt, who is the reason that Star Wars sounds as great as it does. Who for Star Wars won, they had to make up an Oscar for how good his work was. They had to make up a special achievement Oscar for his Foley artist and sound design work on Star Wars. So there's some amazing pedigree there. A lot of people do say about Wall-E that it's too moralistic. I don't really have that problem with it. I think it's a bit more general than the environmentalist message that people argue it has too much of. I don't think that's really the case. It's more of a general theme of not just living your life ensconced in floating bubble chairs that look like they were designed by Apple. Yes. So yes, Wall-E, definitely good. If you haven't seen it, you should see it. If you have seen it, you should watch it again because it's fantastic. And it's about a robot that learns to love, and isn't that the best subject in the world to make a movie about? So yes, that's Wall-E. Cool. You've seen Wall-E. You like Wall-E.
Yeah, I like Wally. I don't like it
You
as
like
much as you
Wall-E?
do. I don't like it as much as you do, but yeah, it's good. It's good. My next film is the 1933 Marx Brothers comedy Duck Soup. Christ, I love this movie. It's got all the bits that just appeal to me. It's got the witty dialogue in there, and the slapstick and other physical comedy that the Marx Brothers are known for. It's just so damn funny. And Groucho, yeah, he's just putting everyone in their place as the president of Fredonia, and yeah, giving Miss Teasdale what for. You should tear down a house and put up an apartment building. It's just so damn funny. I love this. Yeah, we watched this together actually for the first
and
time.
we always said we should go back and watch it because so many of the jokes, like it was so rapid fire that we didn't pick up on half the jokes. I think.
Yeah, oh, don't worry, I've been back and watched it.
I'm sure you have.
Yeah, and even just like you can go onto IMDb and go onto their quotes. You can just read the quotes off, and it's absolutely hilarious. So yeah, Duck Soup is one of my favorite films. I watch it at least once a year now. So yes, yeah, that's mine. I love the Marx Brothers. I've got to see some more of their films. That's actually the only Marx Brothers film I have seen, but I've got to see more of their films because I love Duck Soup so much. So I can't see why I wouldn't love A Day at the Races or A Night at the Opera or whatever they're called.
A Day at the Races, A Night at the Opera. Coconuts? Oh, that might be racist. Don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I love Duck Soup. And actually, after watching Duck Soup, like I was a big fan of MASH. You can see where a lot of Alan Alda's comedy comes from.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. And oh man, MASH.
Because I thought Alan Alda in MASH was just freaking fantastic. But now watching Duck Soup, you can see a lot of it is pulled from there. And also there is that one episode he dresses up a lot like a Marx Brothers character with big feet and walks into the surgery. with the clown thingy on and being all funny. Yeah, he's very much impersonating Groucho Marx in that scene. But yeah, a lot of the liners, a lot of the wit is like pulled from the Marx Brothers movies.
Yeah, as far as I can tell, Larry Gelbart, who wrote a whole chunk of MASH, sort of worked on those 50s era TV series that were definitely pulling, like the Colgate Comedy Hour and so forth. He
Oh
started
yeah.
out working on that, and then which was definitely pulling from the Marx Brothers. I think Groucho was on TV at the same time.
Mm.
Anyway, yes, Duck Soup. It's tremendous fun. I need to watch it again.
Yeah, we should watch it.
Okay. So is it my go again? It's my
Yeah,
go.
you can go. You can go again.
Oh, thank you. I like a movie about being excellent to each other. I really like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Oh my god, it's so much fun. It is kind of this ridiculous teen stoner movie from the 80s, but it's so much more than that. It's like a genuinely good time travel story. Um, it's got some genuinely clever time travel moments. It's also just funny as hell. I love Napoleon and Beethoven when they go to the mall. Like, I don't know why movies don't have more mall montages. This means you X-Men. Go to the mall. Just go to the mall
Let's
all the
go
time.
to the mall
Exactly. Kirby Smuggler
today.
says, "Go to the mall." It's sort of this wonderfully bonkers teen adventure movie from the 80s, and but it's still. I may be reading too much into it, but it's rare to see an adventure movie that is this so positive because it's a very much the conceit that Wild Stallions music will bring peace to the world, but in order to do that, they have to pass their history exam, and so they go on a time traveling adventure. It's kind of wonderful. It's kind of audacious. This notion that there could be music that powerful that implores you to be excellent to each other, that then does save the world. It's a lot more fun than most. I mean, it's more fun than Looper, which is
Yeah.
another time travel movie. It's such a wonderful, wonderful idea. Um, it's such a fantastic little bit of film, and it's so much fun. And I think they've always had that tone. I think the Bogus Journey has a similar tone, and hopefully we'll get Bill and Ted 3, because yeah, they are very much about just they're about music, and it may be 80s power rock, but that's fine. So yeah, it's this wonderfully fun movie. It's this wonderfully genuine and funny and clever little film. Well, it's not that little. That I think. I mean, it's a cult classic for a reason. I think it has its fans for very much of a reason. And it's just wonderful. If you've never seen it, you should definitely check out Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure at least once. It's about being excellent to each other, and Keanu Reeves is in it, and George Carlin. So hit that up. You've seen it multiple times,
Yeah.
probably.
Well,
Yeah.
a few times. I wouldn't say multiple. Well, it is multiple, but I haven't seen it a great
Ah,
deal.
man, so great.
Do you
Oh,
like the
yo,
second one?
dust in the wind. I haven't seen it that much, to be honest. I remember liking it. I remember finding it quite odd. I haven't seen it as a grown up. I saw it as a kid. Um, I, I, I think a lot of the references were over my head because
Mm.
the idea of playing chess with death, but then keeping like continually beating death at the different board games he wants to play. That's hilarious, but it was completely beyond me when I was younger. So yeah, I haven't seen. I need to go back and see Bogus Journey to be honest, see what it's like.
Do they also play the game of life? Because that
Uh,
sounds like one that Death would lose.
I don't know. I don't think they played a game of life. They played Battleship. They played chess and they played Battleship, and I think they played Connect Four. I'm not
Ah,
quite sure. And then Death plays the bass, I believe.
he's so multi-talented, that Death guy.
He is.
He can reap,
Um,
he can play bass.
he's not very good at board games.
Well, who is really? No one plays it anymore.
Well, people do. There's a board game subculture that's alive
Yeah.
and can play D&D. Maybe Death should play D&D. That would be amazing. I watched The Seventh Seal and Our Merry Band of Attackers. I don't know. I don't know how D&D works. Anyway, what else you got for us?
My third one I've got a third one as well. So this is my last one of all
Oh,
time.
okay. Convenient. Followed the rule of threes.
Yes, and it's an Australian. It's an Australian stop motion animation called Mary and Max from 2009. It's got the voices of Philip Seymour Hoffman as just trying to find his name. Max. Well,
Max.
yeah, I was thinking of his last name, Horowitz. Yeah, who is like this fat Jewish guy in New York, and he's got anxiety problems, so he doesn't like going out, and everything has to be a particular ways. But he's got a lot of like mental issues. And then there's Mary, who is voiced by Toni Collette, and the whole thing is narrated by Barry Humphries. It's just this wonderful, wonderful animation about this girl finding a pen pal and becoming a friend with him and helping him through his anxiety and helping him better his life, just by randomly picking a name out of the phone book and asking where babies come from. She writes to him because her mother, who is a kleptomaniac and fantastic, yeah, tells her that they come out of Coke cans, or I can't think where she tells them they come from. So she chooses Max and writes to him, and he asks her where they come from, and he tells her some other insane story of where babies come from, and they start this beautiful friendship. And she tells him all about how one day she wants to grow up and marry a man called Earl Grey, which is fantastic. It's so endearing. I love this movie. I really love this movie. It's a great movie and way underseen. Everyone should watch this movie. I don't think enough people have seen this movie. Mary Max, check it out. It is definitely worth it.
Kind of brutal though. I liked it.
Oh yeah,
God.
it's not it's I wouldn't say it's a fun kids animation. I think it is an animation for adults. It's a little bit brutal in parts. It gets quite sad, but the humor in it, there is some beautiful humor and a beautiful story actually going on.
Yes, I liked it. I liked it a whole lot. It's real good. Cool. Okay, shall I go on to my next one?
Why not?
All right. Network is a very famous movie that not enough people have seen.
Including me.
Yeah, you should see it because it's wonderful. It is from, let me find out this year, 1976. It's about a TV presenter who is played by Peter Finch, who called Howard Beale, who finds out his ratings are in decline and he's going to be fired, and he begins. His wife has died and he's in a bad place, and he announces on the news that he'll be finishing up and that he's going to kill himself. This causes a massive stir within the company. And like a lot of people sort of think he should be taken off TV. His old friend Max Schumacher, who's played by William Holden, is obviously concerned about his friend and wants to see him sort of get better, but also just kind of go out of this job he's had for so long with a bit of dignity. And so they arrange for him to keep going on the news. And the next time he announces he wasn't actually going to kill himself, he's just tired of all the bullshit. And as he goes on and on with these outbursts, they find their ratings start to climb. And so the network decides to make a show out of it. So Faye Dunaway, in possibly one of my favorite performances ever, is this incredibly ruthless and magnificent television executive in 1976. It's this amazing role for that in general, but also for the time it was in. Sort of arranges the Howard Beale show, which becomes this fantastic sort of thing, phenomenon that's based around the rantings of Howard Beale. Meanwhile, there's a lot of comment on just the cynicism of media and television as an industry. The fourth estate as a big corporate thing. There's all this corporate stuff going on. There's also at one point they're making a movie out of some. I don't know if it's really that familiar a concept anymore, but sort of the radicals, the violent radicals that supposedly were about California around the 60s and 70s. I don't know if that was a bit overdone. But yes, so there's this parallel story of turning what are basically massive criminals and terrorists into a reality TV show in 1976. There's these fantastic, there's all these sort of hyper relevant strains to it. Still, it's timeless and yet amazingly immediate. Ned Beatty, who you may know as Otis in Superman, has this fantastic. It's one of those scenes where he gives one speech and basically defines the entire movie. He gives this massive speech to Howard Beale. He calls it when Howard Beale starts to exceed really what the company wants him to do. He gives this massive speech to Howard Beale, while Howard Beale is rapidly deteriorating on the nature of America and how it's defined by corporations. It's this fantastic performance. It's this amazing movie that somehow never stops being incredibly relevant, with fantastic performances and just fantastic stuff. It's really good. Everyone should see it. It's fantastic. Directed by Sidney Lumet, who is incredibly prolific. Yes, C Network, you fools! It's wonderful. If you know the line, "I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore," it's from Network.
Everyone knows that line, but no one
I'm
knows
mad
what
as
it's
hell and
from.
I'm not going to take it anymore. It's a fantastic scene. The mad as hell and I'm not going to take it scene. It's wonderful. You should absolutely see this movie for Faye Dunaway, if nothing else, and also all the other reasons it's amazing.
I remember seeing Faye Dunaway in Anonymous Rex. It was pretty good.
Oh God, no, she's come back, Faye Dunaway. Do good things.
Yeah, she should
She's in
have
the
done away with
Bye-Bye.
that film. What? She's in Bye Bye?
She's in the Bye-Bye Man
Oh, wow. I didn't
as
realize.
Widow Redbon.
Good on her.
Yeah. You should see Network. Everyone should see Network at least once. It's wonderful. It's fantastic. It's great.
I'll have to add it to my list.
Yes, add it to your list. Oh my
Well,
God.
something Tim should add to his list. Moving on to this year's favourite movie so far.
Yes.
Because I know Tim still has Rogue One to come out. But yeah, so this year's my favorite movie of this year, like top movie, is a tie between Zootopia and Kubo, which I have spoke about recently on the podcast. So I won't go over them again. I will talk about 10 Cloverfield Lane. I thought this was absolutely fantastic. I rewatched it again this week and just love getting into this movie. So this started off as a movie called The Cellar, and then JJ got his hands on it. JJ Abrams got his hands on it and said, "Hey, let's make it a Cloverfield spin-off sequel." And yeah, so they did a couple of reshoots and added a nice little ending to it. But that's all that Cloverfield is the ending. So you get this fantastic movie, which is nothing like the original Cloverfield, but still connected to the universe. So it's in the universe, but it's not a direct sequel. It's more like another story that happens at the same time as the Cloverfield invasion. So pretty much, we've got John Goodman, and he's got this woman, Mary Elizabeth, played by Mary Elizabeth Winstein, in his bunker. And then John Gallagher Jr. shows up. He's also in the bunker too. And yeah, he's like, "I saved you from a car accident, but you cannot leave because there's been a big attack up on in the earth, like up on the ground. And I don't know if it's nuclear or chemical, but you can't go up there. Everyone's dying. Look at the pigs. The pigs are dead." So it's a very tense thriller, all confined in here, and you got John Goodman being a very, very creepy man with obvious psychological problems. So she's not sure whether he's kidnapped her and just lying to her or what's going on. Um, so I love this film. There's so much tension in it. There is so much tension in it, and John Gallagher Jr. just pushes through, pushes through with his character. With I can't even think of their names. Why can't I think of their names?
Emmett.
Michelle and Emmett, they kind of like do their plotting, and I love it. John Goodman is the best. He is the absolute best actor. I love John Goodman and everything. And this shows, like, if you haven't really seen much of him since Roseanne, this shows his acting chops. He can really get into a character and really creep you the hell out. So yeah, and then so you got this great psychological thriller, and then at the end, it turns into this sci-fi alien invasion movie, ever so briefly, but it's enough to connect it back to the universe and just. I know a lot of people didn't like the ending. They felt that it was tacked on. I didn't think that. I loved how it played into it. Um, so yes, see 10 Cloverfield Lane. You haven't seen it, have you?
Yeah, I've seen it. I really liked it.
Oh, I didn't think you saw it.
No, I did. Yeah, I thought it was really, really good.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, because remember we talked about how I liked it, but was worried about John Goodman's health.
Was that day? Was it?
Well, it was the reason I was worried about John Goodman's health.
Oh, okay.
Because as amazing as this film is, yes. Anyway, it's interesting that you should say. I've always wondered if it does stand up to a rewatch. Because as much as I liked it, that ending does feel tacked on. I liked it anyway. I was just going with it when I saw it, but I did kind of wonder if it would hold up. So that's interesting.
It holds up for me. I bought the DVD, the Blu-ray, so it holds up for me.
Yeah. Check it out, I guess, if you haven't seen it. See if it still holds up. I should probably do that. Cool. Okay, so again, my favorite movie for the year. I guess I'm not expecting. I may as well point out, Rogue One to be the best movie of the year. I'll still love it and see it, but I'm just not as. It just doesn't have that level of expectation as The Force Awakens had last year. So we'll have to find out. It could be amazing. But yes, again, it's Star Wars, so it does kind of sit apart. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it comes out in the wash. But so far, my favorite movie of the year 2016 is Operation Avalanche, which I've talked about before. But I just keep thinking about that movie and keep thinking about how great it is. It's a found footage film of sorts. Um, It's about a guy in the CIA who's in the CIA film department because the CIA has a film department. Because I mean, the CIA would have all sorts of things really, and he finagles his way into a mission to infiltrate NASA to try and root out a mole. But as he's doing that, he and his best friend, this is Matt Johnson. So it's directed by Matt Johnson, written by Matt Johnson, and the characters keep the names of their actors. So it's Matt Johnson and Owen Williams. Um, they're infiltrating NASA to try and find this mole, but they happen to overhear a conversation that reveals that NASA can't actually land on the moon. And so he comes up with this plan to just fake the moon landing. Um, and so it kind of progresses from there. And it starts out, it's very light-hearted at the beginning. It's virtually a comedy to begin with. And then it sort of veers quite well into being like a proper thriller. So it's definitely, there's so much going on here. There's sort of this theme of film as an illusion and film as a way to tell the truth. It's kind of amazing to see the relationship between Johnson and Owen Williams evolve through the film. It's amazing to see what they've done on such a small budget as well. How sort of it definitely feels like a low budget film from the 60s, like a low budget version of a 60s found footage film, sort of the filters to achieve the effects of feeling like Super 8 or what have you, or like old film. It's still incredibly well done. It's incredibly well judged and balanced. What's was worth spending money on and what wasn't. It's a fantastic little film. It's very, very good. It's definitely a film you should see. It looks fantastic, and it is fantastic, and it's just so exciting. It's out as well in New Zealand on the 29th. It came out at the film festival. It had a repeat screening, and it'll be out in a limited release on the 29th. So if you're in Auckland, I think that'll be at Academy, maybe Rialto. You should definitely try and see it if you can, because it's real good. You haven't seen that, have you?
No, I haven't heard anything about it.
It's real good.
I'm just looking at IMDb's release dates, and apparently it was here for the Melbourne Film Festival in July. But that's it. It doesn't look like there's any other release dates for it. As far as I know, I've never heard anything about it until you posted the review for it.
It's real good. Yes, definitely see it.
All right. So that's our favorite things. No whiskers on kittens. For our 50th episode. Yay!
Yay!
So now I'll just quickly talk about what is coming out in Australian cinemas. We have 2 movies this week coming out on the 22nd, which is Storks and Snowden. So Storks is an animation about how storks no longer deliver babies; they deliver other things now. Until they get an order in for a baby, and no one remembers how to deliver babies anymore. But they still do it anyway because, damn it, they're the male guys, so they're going to get it out. It looks terrible. Don't watch it. And the other one coming out is Oliver Stone's Snowden. So this stars Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Snowden. I'm pretty sure this was meant to come out earlier on in the year and it got pushed. It feels like it got pushed to Oscar season. Maybe that's had something to do with it. Yeah, so pretty much it's a biopic of Edward Snowden and how he leaked thousands of classified documents. It also stars Scott Eastwood and Shailene Woodley.
Shailene.
And Nick Cage is in it. That's enough reason for me to say it. Nick Cage is fun. Other than that, yeah, that's all that's coming out here in Australia this week. How about New Zealand? Is that any different?
Yes, we're not getting Snowden. We're getting Bridget Jones's Baby. Captain Fantastic. Don't Breathe is out on the 22nd. Storks is as well. We're also getting The Red Turtle, a film I saw but didn't enjoy because the people behind me kept talking, is out as well, presumably in a limited release after the film festival, after it was out at the film festival. So it's out as well. Maybe go see it. I don't really know.
He's only just getting Don't Breathe.
Yes.
Go see it. I'd love to know if you like it or not.
I'll probably see it. Yeah.
You should. You should. It's really, really good.
If you're waiting for Snowden, it might already be out. I'm not actually sure. Let me have a look here. Yeah, I don't know when Snowden's out. I'll let you know.
What was the other one you said was coming out?
I know you're excited for Bridget Jones's Baby.
No, I can't wait till the ads stop for that. I'm sick of seeing the ads for it.
Captain Fantastic?
Yeah, Captain Fantastic I've heard is really, really good. I tried to get to it this week, but just couldn't make it. But I've heard it's really good.
Okay. So yes, that's what's out in New Zealand at the moment. So I guess it's time to wrap up, I guess. So if you want to read our blog, it's at sfdfmoviereviews.tumblr.com. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/sfdfmoviereviews. You can find us on Twitter at sfdfmoviereview. What else? If you want to listen to the podcast, we're at soundcloud.com/sfdf or wherever good SoundClouds are found. That's also mirrored on iTunes. Just search SFDF. If you want to email us, you can get to us at inspace.no-one-can-eat-ice-cream@gmail.com. If you want to find all of these things, because I've said them too quickly, as well as many other good stuff, that's good English, many other good stuff. You can look down the right side of the main blog, which again is sfdfmoviereviews.tumblr.com. There's links to everything there. Alrighty,
and also YouTube now. We're throwing it on YouTube now.
How? Yeah, what's our YouTube channel called? Do we know? There's a link to that as well, I think, on the blog. Because we've
I think
done.
it's just SFDF science fiction double feature. Pretty sure it is.
Okay. There is a link to our YouTube page on. We've used it for doing yearly
Couple
wraps
of
and so
wraps.
forth. Yeah.
Mm.
So there's a link to that down the side of the main blog as well. Yes, cool. So that's about it from us this week, I guess. Time to go and I got to go do some groceries. You've probably got to do stuff with your baby.
I've got to go to work.
Oh yeah, you work on Saturdays.
Yeah,
Okay,
it sucks, but I do.
fair enough. I'm gonna go to a hobby fair and get some coffee.
Get some hobby.
No, yeah, Hobby Cliven. That's him exactly. But yes, so that's about it from us, I guess. So I guess it's time to say goodbye. So say goodbye, Terry.
Goodbye, Terry.
Okay, that's it from us. Bye.
Bye.